I'm on top of it.
House or two up from Pioneer Park. Okay. I get it. Oh,
There we go.
video good, you good, we all good? Good evening, welcome to the Independent City Council meeting. It's Tuesday, March 28th, 2023, 6:30 in the evening, and it's not dark outside, which is nice, and it's not raining. Good evening, let the record show the council members are all present. You have minutes in front of you from the March 14th meeting. Do they meet with your approval? That was motioned by Martin Willis.
I'll second.
A second by Morton. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much. Under public comment, Ms. Steele. Good evening.
Good evening.
You have 5 minutes and we're here to listen.
I don't think I'm gonna take 5 minutes, but a couple things I wanted to mention. And the main thing tonight is I'm here to talk about parking on C Street. As you know, my business is right there on C Street in Maine. And the parking has gotten worse and worse and worse. It's getting to be quite a problem. There's all times of day it's hard to find a parking spot. I'm having customers show up and say, we're meeting friends here, but they're circling the block. They couldn't find a place. They can't walk that far. And that's getting to be a real problem. I know it's hurting me, it's hurting a lot of people on Main Street. There usually is a little parking still on Main Street. But I'm worried again, and I do want to say that I am stoked, super happy for all the doors behind me. And I know that's why the parking is happening. I wouldn't trade it because it means a lot of business to have that little people behind you. That's great for Main Street for us. But my customers are hurting. So I was, just talking tonight, I want to talk about trying to get something in place to stem what's going to happen this summer. Because it's not going to get better, it's going to get worse. The apartments behind are full. They're going to fill up. Everybody there probably got 2 cars with only 1 parking spot. The Elks is, full tonight when I left. I'll probably not have a spot to park where I'm supposed to. I'll probably have to park on Main Street or something when I get back. It's just going to get worse. And I know that there's going to be a parking study coming on. I realize that, but I really hope there's a sense of urgency to get this taken care of by whatever measure, because the trolley's going to come in. It's going to take 2 or 3 spots. That's going to confound things even more. Although, again, I'm happy it's stopping from my place. I'm happy about that too. But parking is going to be a problem for everybody. A lot of bikers park on C Street, unload their bikes right around the park, where they start a loop right there, and they come in, fill their water bottle, get their coffee, go to the bakery, do those kind of things. They can't do that. They're having to park way down at the bottom now. And so we're not seeing those people. So that affects me. It affects a couple other businesses for sure that I know about. And also people who are walking their dogs, all that kind of stuff where they're using C Street to pop out, go to the park and get back in their car. It's just not possible right now. So I'm sure there's a lot of options for parking, and we're going to be looking at those options as the people come out and tell us what they think we should happen. Obviously, we do old school parking meters, we do new school parking meters, we do a 3-hour parking limit. Obviously, at this point, we have no enforcement for that. Sounds like. However, I think the need is there. Either get some enforcement or hope people do it on their own first until they don't, and then need enforcement. But it's critical, I think, that we look at this and get ahead of it, because I think we're already behind it. And we need to get ahead of it before the summer, because it will be a big deal this summer. It'll mean a lot of business downtown, because those spots are all taken by people who are leaving their cars there all day long. One of the things that I wanted to mention, I just noticed that I should talk about tonight is we're having pop-up vendors on the street show up, putting up tents, selling things like corn at night on the weekends when everybody's gone. I'm not sure everybody's aware of that. But I play by the rules, and I want everybody else to play by the rules. And I sell food, and I don't want food being sold on the sidewalk out from my place or across the street from my place. So people should be aware of that, and aware that it is happening every week and for the last at least a month. So that's all I got.
Thanks for taking the time to come in. Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, can we ask Gerald a question regarding parking?
Go ahead.
I know this parking service coming up Can Fred take into consideration too all the door dashers that are parking on Main Street to run in and pick up stuff? I don't know how we can quantify that, but I know it's having an impact.
So I took some notes, and when Fred and Ken are back, I'll share that with them and have it back to the study.
Great,
I'm sure there'll be a point where they're gonna do an outreach.
yes,
So,
great. Okay, moving forward, for my report, I have a number of different things. As you know, there's a lot of things happening in the Oregon legislature related to housing, land use, what the rules are. City manager and I had a chance to meet with a member of the housing committee that, a housing production committee that's being appointed by the governor. There aren't municipal folks on that committee, but we did get a chance to talk to Eric Olson, who serves on that committee, and share some thoughts from a municipal perspective. So that was really helpful. Last week, I had the opportunity, I testified in front of the House Economic Development Committee regarding Business Oregon budget related to the importance of infrastructure, especially for small and rural communities. I appreciate that. Had a meeting recently with the Western Oregon University president and their staff about a number of different things that they're working on, and they're looking to try to coordinate with on a number of events and initiatives of bringing a bunch of their new people up to speed. Attended the COG board meeting, which I'm a board member there. Had the chance to be the dinner auctioneer at the St. Patrick's Day annual auction, and that's always a hoot, doing corned beef and cabbage during Lent. And then just reminding everybody that on Sunday is the ribbon cutting for the trolley, starting at 3 o'clock. And so there'll be music and not a lot of speechification, I don't think, but we'll be all able to start riding the trolley all over. I intend to take a ride. So anyway, that's my report on this point. I'm going to go to council liaison reports, and Councilor Schwartzler, you have the first two, so I turn it to you.
Thank you. Update from Minet. So they received a successful positive audit report from Grove, New York and Swank. Their expansion work into Riverwell is going well, and the sales there are encouraging. The expansion has also gotten good press. Word out. There was a reminder that people having difficulty paying their bill can work with Polk County Family Community Outreach Center. That they do have some ARPA funds to help cover those costs for people who need it. Minet will be providing free Wi-Fi on the new trolley, so that's exciting news. And that Minet is also going to be installing equipment to provide multi-gig service to the home, expected sometime in midsummer. And Minet and West Valley Fiber has also continued to be active in the community. They are supporting a lot of local activities and events, and the next meeting is April 26th at 5 p.m.
Keep rolling since you have Park and Recreation.
Parks and Recreation, so this is from January, the February, March meetings have been canceled. Jonathan Jay was elected the new chairperson. The sports park property was discussed. There was a feasibility report that was recently completed by a consultant. So the sports park was proposed to be located where the soccer fields are, but it's looking that there might be some problems with that current location. It might not be ideal, and a different location may be identified in the future for that. A citizen asked if more wood chips could be added to the dog park. And then the bigger item for discussion is the development of a new community center next to Henryville Park, beside of the former Macon community pool. It was constructed in 1960. Unfortunately, it came to the end of its operational life, stopped working. So right now they are looking at, the city has a survey out to look at a new pool or other development that could be built there. And the results of the survey will be presented to the city council. And the survey can be found on social media and also the city's website under the latest news section in the lower left-hand corner of the website. And the next meeting for parks will be April 20th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Councilor Joe. And the Penn State.
Okay, so the Independence Days Commission is moving right along with their plans for this year's festivities, the Fourth of July celebration. They are still in negotiations with music and other acts for the park. They may be able to have card readers this year at the entrances. They wouldn't have to rely as much on the ATMs. The hotel has requested their own entrance to the park. I don't think that's been decided, but it is something they're discussing. Wristbands tentatively go on sale beginning of June. Invitations to previous year's vendors have gone out. New vendor discount is being offered. I believe it is a 10 by 10 booth. Volunteers are needed. Look for more information on that coming soon. The campaign to get the info out to everyone about the celebration is set to start April 3rd. Sponsors have already expressed interest, and there is one committed, and the talent show will have increased prizes.
Great, thank you very much. Lots of things going on. We're gonna move into a new business here. We have a public hearing on water system master plan, and I have to read the script. This evening, we'll have a public hearing on legislative amendment 2023-01 to consider adoption of the water system master plan and associated amendments to the Independence Comprehensive Plan. The city council will make a final decision based on the complete record, including the testimony received at tonight's public hearing. These proceedings are being recorded. This hearing will be held in accordance with the land use procedures required by the city and the state of Oregon. This is the type 4 legislative procedure. At the beginning of the public hearing, staff will identify the applicable substantive criteria from the city's comprehensive plan and or the state of Oregon statewide planning goals. For everybody wishing to speak, we ask you to use the speaker cards that are provided when asked to speak. You'll be recognized and you'll be able to, and please state your name and address for the record before we begin. Do any councilors wish to share an action or potential conflict of interest in this matter? I see no one waiting. Okay. I'm officially open the hearing. I open the public hearing for LA 2023-01 water system master plan and associated revisions to the Independence Comprehensive Plan. And can I please have the staff report?
Thank you, Mr.
Mayor
Mayor.
Fisher, go ahead.
So we have received approval from the state on the water master plan. They reviewed it, had no comments back. We have Pace Smith from West Tech Engineering is going to go through a brief PowerPoint presentation. Fred Evander, who couldn't be at the meeting tonight, he has prepared all of the planning requirements for the comprehensive plan update. And I'm more than happy, once we get through the PowerPoint presentation, to answer any questions you might have about the update to the comp plan and the master plan. So with that, Chase, you all ready to go? Yes, okay.
Welcome to the Independence City Council. Good evening.
Thank you for having me. Do I got the power here to change the slides?
Yeah, hold on just a second, let me.
Great.
Sorry. That was there. I do believe that's going to show us in. Oh, good.
It's not bringing up the slideshow.
There you go.
There.
Okay. Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Pace Smith. I'm an engineer with West Tech Engineering. And I'm going to be providing an overview of the water system master plan and a summary of kind of the major findings and recommendations. I'm going to be talking about these 10 items. So this is the purposes of the plan, the study area and planning period, the regulatory requirements, description of the existing water system, description of water demands and water projections, water supply evaluation, evaluation of water treatment, the distribution system, and water storage, and then also the capital improvement plan is recommended in the document. So the 5 purposes of the plan, first is to evaluate the needs of the city's water system for the next 20 years. To provide recommended improvement projects for the existing system, to provide a list of projects that are recommended to develop the existing system to serve for future needs, and to prioritize those improvements. To satisfy regulatory and funding agency requirements, and then also to serve as the basis for SDC and user fee studies. Oops. So the study area is the urban growth boundary. The planning period is 20 years from 2025 to 2045. The population projection is based on the Portland State University Population Research Center forecasts. And the projected population in 2045 is roughly 18,600. The population is currently roughly 10,000 in the UGB. Oops. Regulatory requirements are to satisfy 2 agencies, the Oregon Health Authority Drinking Water Services Program and the Oregon Water Resources Department. And so OHA is responsible for enforcing water system planning laws. They review and approve the plan. They enforce drinking water quality standards as well as facility construction standards. And so all of our recommendations have to be in line with the requirements of these 2 agencies. The Oregon Water Resources Department administers and enforces water rights and the use of water in the state, as well as review the water management conservation plan, which was updated as a part of this process as well. And the WMCP is basically a regulatory planning document that Oregon Water Resources Department requires for mostly for overseeing the efficiency and of use of water and prevention of wasted water. So the city's existing water system is supplied entirely by groundwater wells. And these are from 2 different groups of wells, so 2 different well fields. These are the Polk well field and the South well field. This picture on the bottom right is the Polk water treatment plant, reservoir, and pump station. So each well field is associated with a water treatment plant like this, and reservoirs and a pump station. And each of these treatment plants is only set up to treat groundwater. They would not be, for instance, able to treat water from the Willamette River. And also the city has water rights to each of the groundwater wells, but the city also has water rights to the Willamette River that are not in use. So the city has 4 water storage reservoirs that total roughly 3.5 million gallons of storage. And the city's distribution system, which includes all of the water mains throughout town, is pressurized using 3 pump stations and 37 miles of water mains. So present water demands are described in the master plan based on the last 5 years of water use records. And the city uses roughly 370 million gallons of water per year, which is an average of roughly 106 gallons per person per day, which is a fairly typical use rate. And there's 3 demand rates that we look at in particular for the water master plan. These are the average day demand, the maximum day demand, and the peak hour demand. So these correspond to basically the average and the peak rates. And for the master plan, we're mostly concerned about the maximum day demand for the city currently. Sorry. So based on historical water records, we prepare a water demand projection as based on these 4 assumptions, which is that per capita demands are not going to increase during the planning period. No additional large water users are going to be added, such as water bottling plants, wineries, data centers, things like that. Population projections will not be exceeded is another assumption. And also that it assumes that water loss is going to stay constant through the planning period. So based on these assumptions, we prepare the water demand projection, which estimates that in the year 2045, the maximum day demand in the city will be roughly 2,700 gallons per minute. It's currently roughly 1,700 gallons per minute at the beginning of the planning period. So based on this water demand projection, we look at the city's current water sources and their ability to meet the projected demands. And there's three criterion that we look at in particular, but the one that is most important or most relevant for the recommendations in the plan is the total capacity criterion, which basically says that the city's water sources need to be able to supply the maximum day demand and also replenish the water that's drawn down during a major fire flow event in 3 days. And so in the beginning of the planning period, that flow rate is roughly 2,000 gallons per minute. And we estimate it'll grow to roughly 3,000 gallons per minute by the end of the planning period. The city's existing supply rate during the summer months is roughly 2,100 gallons per minute. And so we concluded in the master plan that there's going to be a deficit in the city's ability to meet this criterion starting in roughly 2028. And that deficit will increase to roughly 825 gallons per minute by the end of the planning period. And so these flow rates basically inform the amount of additional water supply that the city will need to prepare during the planning period. So based on these findings, we recommend that the city begin developing additional supply capacity as soon as possible, because it takes a fair number of years to bring new water source into production. And in order to do that, we first look at the city's existing sources and whether those are able to be increased in capacity to meet this demand. So the Polk well field is able to have some capacity added to it using what's called a water right action. So taking different steps with OWRD to utilize more of the city's water rights with the Polk well field. However, the south well field is not able to be expanded further. There's simply just not enough capacity in the way that the wells are set up. So what this means is that the city will need to develop a third water source that utilizes water rights, either a river intake or a new well field, treatment plant, a reservoir, and also a pump station and water line to connect it to the existing system. And so we look at, again, some of these existing facilities and how they can be used. The city has three main options for a new water source that we think that are reasonable to evaluate. Those are evaluated in detail in chapter 6. And these three sources are the Willamette River, the existing Willamette well field, which is co-owned with the city of Monmouth, and then a third well field. And these first two sources, they have water rights associated with them, but the third option does not. And also, when developing an entirely new water source, it's going to require investments in all aspects of the water system. And so we think that it's most prudent to think not just one planning period ahead, but multiple, perhaps 50 or even 100 years in the future. Not to prepare obviously that much capacity, but to think of this new facility as having the ability to expand. And so the existing Willamette well field and also a new well field, we don't think would be able to do that. So ultimately, the plan recommends that the city develop a new water source using the Willamette River. And these other two options are possible, but we don't think that they'll meet the city's needs or serve the city long term.
That's a good question.
Yes,
Is, the Willamette well field, is that owned by Monmouth and they allow us to take water from it, or is it jointly owned?
We own the property and, we jointly work together, on the development of the well field. Well number one is, promising. Well number two, they have an issue with the bottom of the well, it's broken. And well number three did not have much yield out of it at all.
Continue.
so based on this recommendation of utilizing the Willamette River, we look at what kind of treatment requirements will be needed and whether the city's existing treatment plants could be retrofit to meet this new need of this water source. And ultimately, it will be most cost effective to build an entirely new treatment plant that's close to the Willamette River. The current treatment plants are relatively far away. Their site is not big enough, and also the facilities would basically need to be completely changed. So, like I mentioned earlier, recommend this new facility be designed to be expanded over multiple planning periods to provide for long-term growth. And you can think of this new facility as being the source of the new growth of the city for the foreseeable future. So that's kind of how we envision it. The treatment evaluation chapter includes a recommended, what we would consider a worst case scenario treatment process, which is shown schematically in this slide, and includes basically a conventional treatment filtration process with ozone, granular activated carbon filtration, UV disinfection, and chlorine disinfection. And as the design gets more underway for this facility, some of these components may be determined to be, above and beyond or not entirely necessary. So, we also do an evaluation of the distribution system. So we evaluate the age, material, capacity, and configuration of the city's distribution network. And the city's existing water mains are currently 2 to 70 years old. And we prepare a hydraulic model to evaluate the capacity of the network to meet fire flow events throughout the city. And we use this model to identify deficiencies in the system and also to recommend improvements, for instance, increases in size of water lines. And this chapter, in summary, this chapter finds roughly 58 projects that are recommended for 5 different categories of projects. And category 1, 2, and 5 are really the most critical for the city's planning point of view. Categories 3 and 4 are what we would consider beneficial or would be likely financed by developers. So these projects are mostly to increase fire flow or to replace relatively old pipes in the network. Here's an example of a map that's in the document showing where these water lines are and what type of project they are color coded. We also do an evaluation of the city's water storage. So this is and then as a schematic showing the 4 main purposes of water storage. These are for firefighting storage, emergency use, drawdown during peak demands, and also drawdown for typical pump operation. And based on the evaluation, we find that we estimate there will be a deficit in the minimum or necessary storage starting roughly 2035. And that deficit will grow to roughly a need for an additional 1 million gallons of storage by the end of the planning period. And we also evaluated existing reservoirs, and the Monmouth Street Reservoir, I believe, was constructed in roughly 1960. And require, in our opinion, pretty substantial retrofits to address seismic risk and degradation for its sustained surface. So ultimately, we recommend that the city build a 2 million gallon reservoir at the new water treatment plant and decommission the Monument Street Reservoir, which would basically consolidate the need for these two problems in one project. So we summarize all of these evaluations in the capital improvement plan, which has 4 different categories of projects that are different prioritization. And so category 1 are the near-term projects that are relatively high priority, intermediate-term projects that should be considered to be eventually become priority 1s. Priority 3 projects that are long-term or potentially necessary. Usually these are financed by developers. And category 4, which are beneficial projects but not absolutely necessary. And we summarize all of the cost estimates for each of these projects. And the summary is shown in this table. And so it shows that a fairly large proportion of category 1 projects. These slides are just a list of all the projects, and this is for reference. These are priority 1s, 2s, 2 and 3, 4, and then we also include some operation and maintenance programs that are designed to prolong the service life of the city's facilities and also to prevent prevent basically failures of the city's facilities. So I'm glad to answer any questions or take any comments. Thank you.
Questions from council for the presenter? And I just want to let people who are watching know that we have seen this material before, and I know the planning commission has often seen this material before, so this is not the first time we're seeing that. So if there are no questions, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So is there any public testimony, anybody jumping up that would like to say anything about that? I don't see anybody moving, so without objection, I'm going to close the record. We are now into deliberation discussion, and there's a motion in your on your sheet here for to approve the water system master plan.
I have a question for Gerald. Gerald, on page 49 of the report, it states that there is an attachment B for the proposed public facilities and services plan amendments. Looking at those, I don't see how they directly, why they're included in this report to be attached to this water plan. Why are we doing that? Why are we attaching that?
Give me just a second.
Because the amendments proposed in there have, support our local library systems, make sure we have,
Yeah,
a mobile library. I mean, why are those things included in the water plan?
so this isn't the water plan, this is the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
The water plan is a supplemental document in support of the comprehensive plan. The item that we're changing in this is on page 57, item number A. There used to be a whole bunch of language that was incorporated that included stuff from the original or the last water master plan, a whole bunch of projects and a bunch of other redundant information. Standard practice now is to change the comprehensive plan to refer to that supporting document, and that's what we've done here. So if you look at A, water system, it specifically states if you want to know anything about the water master plan, refer to that document. So that's what we're changing in the comprehensive plan, and the comprehensive plan covers a whole bunch of different items. Does that make sense?
So we're not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Yes. This is what we visited about that a little bit today.
Yeah, there's the water master plan, which the process we went through, but the water master plan is a document that supports the comprehensive plan. When you change that, you also have to change the comprehensive plan. So that's the reason why this language is in there, to show you not only are we doing the updated master plan, but the connection between the comp plan and the master plan.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Anybody like to make a motion?
Yes. I move to approve legislative amendment 2023-01, water system master plan and language amendments to the comprehensive plan, adopting findings and staff recommendations as contained in the staff report.
Second.
Motion second by Martin Willis. Is there discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Mr. Fisher, I think you have the next part of this, please.
This is where I like to have it right here, because this is our report.
It's digging through the paper. Page 45.
Yes. So this is the staff report that he put together for Council Bill 2023-01, that encapsulates all of the prior stuff because this is a type 4 legislative action. We have to adopt the master plan by ordinance, which is why you see the council.
So this is the official ordinance that makes what we just approved okay. That makes sense? If someone would like to, we have the 3 motions to do. If somebody would do the first one, I would appreciate it.
I move to read the proposed ordinance, Council Bill 2023-01 in full as the text is contained in the council packet for the first time.
Have a motion,
Second.
second by Martin Willis. Discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed. Motion carries.
Ordinance amending the Independence Comprehensive Plan and adopting the water system master plan.
Second motion, please.
To read the proposed ordinance, Council Bill 2023-01 for the second time by title only. Second.
Second by Councilor Joe. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
An ordinance amending the Independence Comprehensive Plan and adopting the water system master plan.
Third motion, please.
I move to adopt the proposed ordinance Council Bill number 2023-0.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second by Schwartzler. Discussion. Appreciate the work that's been done on this. Thank you. Thank you. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Bill passed and will be on signed ordinance number 1606.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, I think you get to do the next one on bank accounts and signatures. Please.
If it's okay, I'll just do that from here because I
Please.
think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
The finance director has left the building and so she needs to be removed from all of our banking accounts. And then we will come with you with a new resolution when we hire the replacement.
Great. Anybody have any questions? Someone would move the resolution, please.
I move to adopt resolution 12-2580.
There was a typo. I think it's 23-1580. Okay, yeah.
23-1580, authorizing signature for City of Independence bank accounts.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I need a second.
Second.
Second by Roden. Discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Now, council announcements. Anybody have an announcement to make?
I have a couple.
Councilor Court.
Sorry. I think I've announced this in the council meeting before. I've been working with Barbara Cronin, the executive director of the Monmouth Community Senior Center, to obtain an AARP level community designation in the community, encompassing both cities. There's going to be a forum on April 11th at 3 o'clock at the library at Western in room 107. The gerontology department head, Melissa Can, is going to host that. It's going to be a Q&A forum about what we can do for seniors in our community.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
What was the date? I'm sorry.
April 11th.
April 11th.
Very fun.
Thank you.
Okay. Probably on Sunday, 3 o'clock. At, Fire District. Ding, 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 ding. Take a ride in the trolley.
Thanks for scheduling that on the weekend, Jay.
That was, trying to make it so everybody, could come, and I really appreciate, Fred and Stabler handling it. Somebody say the word adjourn, please. All in favor? Aye. There we go. We're adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening.